as His Excellency was saying, the issue of pacifying Africa, because we are talking of the CFTA, Continental Free Trade Area. But this Continental Free Trade Area will be a trade area only if it is peaceful. But now the whole place is in chaos. What we told, the good thing is that what these young people like the other one is calling history, I call current affairs. Because I was there all this time when all these things were happening. Now, when we started with our elders, Mzee Mandela was in jail, Mzee Oliver Tambo was in London, but we were active with Mwalimu Nyerere, because Mwalimu Nyerere was in charge of Tanganyika by that time. And these people thought it was a joke. There were two lines. The imperialists and those who listened to them, and we who were led by Mwalimu Nyerere and Nkrumah and other people, who wanted freedom, freedom meaning freedom. Now, the other group did not listen to us. Not only that, but they killed many of our people. They killed Lumumba. In Congo, they thought they were very smart. Killed Lumumba. Why did you kill Lumumba? Because Lumumba was independent-minded. In Burundi, they killed Rwagasore. They killed Ngenda Numwe. They killed in Rwanda, they killed the king there, Rudahigwa. Then in West Africa, they were killing all these people, Felix Mumi and all that. They overthrew Nkrumah. They thought they were very clever. They overthrew Modibo Keita in Mali. So their strategy was puppets. Put puppets everywhere. Even in Tanganyika, they tried to overthrow Mwalimu at one time. They tried, but they didn't succeed.
Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to AfriPost. I believe wherever you're watching us from, you're doing great. Today, I will have some important information from Uganda. Yes, you know, the president of Uganda is Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, one of the longest serving presidents in Africa. You know, with age comes wisdom, and President Kaguta Museveni has seen power in many aspects. He's been there through revolution, he's been there through hardships, he's been there through good times. Now, in a meeting with South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, President Kaguta Museveni lashed out at African leaders who took power immediately after independence of most African countries. He cited many countries across the continent and said that most leaders who were installed there were not of the revolution that chased the white man away, but they became remnants and puppets of the colonial powers that happened there. He even said that this is the reason why people like Kwame Nkrumah were deposed of their leadership positions. They went ahead to kill important leaders like Louis Patrice Lumumba in Zaire. So these are some of the things that President Kaguta Museveni was talking about, and he was saying that it is time for young African leaders to come together and forge a force that can ensure that the quest for unity in Africa is achieved, especially through the intercontinental free trade area that has been championed across many forums. So I want you to take a listen to this video.
Your Excellency President Ramaphosa and the leaders of South Africa who are here, on behalf of the Ugandans, I'm very happy to be here. In 1967, I recruited myself into the ANC in Dar es Salaam. I just walked to Swai Priso's office, and I became a member of ANC. You can see now 55 years later, at that time, really, nobody could believe that we would be here in Pretoria, because the situation in the world was very complicated. So I congratulate the people of South Africa for the big struggle they waged, especially the young people in 1976. That uprising really gave us hope. Even we who were outside, we could see that things we are going to change. Now, when we had capacity to do some small contribution, 1989, when the ANC had some issues in Angola, we did not hesitate. Mr. de Klerk wrote to me, said, first of all, the British, they came and said, no, you should be friends with de Klerk. And actually they sent me a man called Malan. Malan was Minister of Defense or something like that. He came to Uganda, and the British were trying to say that we should have a relationship with the white government here. I said, no problem. I have actually I think I wrote to de Klerk and told him that we have no problem. We can be friends, we can talk with the whites, but you don't abandon your own brothers for the sake of friendship. Friendship must not be what takes me from my brother. So we are very happy that we are here where we are now. Now, when South Africa was approaching freedom, as I was telling His Excellency, I had long talks with Mzee Mandela when he came from jail. He first went to Zambia, then he came to Uganda. Then we had long talk. There were now new possibilities. Apart from struggling together, there was now the possibility of working on prosperity together. From the phase of struggling to the phase of working for joint prosperity. And those opportunities are still there. So therefore, the Joint Commission should study what can Uganda do best and sell to South Africa, and what can South Africa do best and sell to Uganda. Because really a durable relationship must be based on business, not just sentiments. To look at, that's what this commission should be doing. There are some things which Uganda can do best and sell to South Africa and vice versa. For instance, I know there is the issue of coal. We have very high grade iron ore in Uganda, but iron ore, one needs coal to turn iron ore into steel. And our part of the world, as you can see, is very far from the ocean, 1,000 miles. Now, bringing steel products from China, from India, from Ukraine in the past, very expensive. The freight alone, the transport, is bigger than even the cost of the product itself. So it is very important that we develop an inland steel industry for Uganda and for those areas around. But here we need coal from South Africa. Some people are talking of hydrogen. They say we can use hydrogen, but they are still saying it is a bit expensive. That it is easier to use coal. through Mombasa. So these items should be listed. South Africa, this and that and that. Don't just come to you, like we do in the African Union, Madame, Excellence, just like a theater. That's why I don't attend those African Union meetings anymore. I don't have time for. So come with concrete. What can Uganda produce that South Africa needs? What can South Africa produce? For me, I have told you about coal. And we are developing electric cars. We have already moved very far. Electric cars, our scientists have built them. But in order for the electric vehicles, buses, to be economic, it is also good that we make the batteries locally in Uganda. And of course, we are looking at lithium and other minerals in Uganda. They may be there, but in case they are not, South Africa has got a lot of those minerals. So you can check that, so that you go industry, even if there are 5 or 6, which you identify, you say South Africa can do this, Uganda can do this, and Uganda can be assisted to do this. And now, of course, Uganda has got, with agriculture, things are much easier, because here away from the equator, I hear people have got only one rainy season. That's what I hear. But there, near the equator, we have 2 rainy seasons. That's why these Ugandans are lazy, you see, because life is very easy for them. You don't have to work very hard, you know. Even a fool can survive in Uganda. So those agro-based that South Africa may need, cheap, they are plenty. They are plenty. Because I don't know, where do you get your bananas from? Do you grow bananas here?
Yes, we do. In the north and in the east.
Big panties, or?
Yeah, towards the north, yes, but not as big as yours.
Not
as big as yours.
So really, that's what this Ministry of Trade, the other young lady, there's my brother here, we are together, he's as old as me, this one. He's quite ancient. This one here. But the other young girl, she's you should help the old man to list. Don't just come, Excellence, Madame, Mademoiselle. So really this is, but then there's also, there's now the bilateral, but there is the producing for third-party markets. The companies can come from South Africa, based in Uganda, or even vice versa, but produce for the US market, because we have got access to that market. USA market, European Union market, Chinese market, using the raw materials of Uganda, which are plenty. That will be, in my view, another area we should look at in detail, not just vaguely. Then finally, as His Excellency was saying, the issue of pacifying Africa, because we are talking of the CFTA, Continental Free Trade Area. But this Continental Free Trade Area will be a trade area only if it is peaceful. But now the whole place is in chaos. What we told, the good thing is that what these young people like the other one is calling history, I call current affairs. Because I was there all this time when all these things were happening. Now, when we started with our elders, Mzee Mandela was in jail. Mzee Oliver Tambo was in London. But we were active with Mwalimu Nyerere, because Mwalimu Nyerere was in charge of Tanganyika by that time. And these people thought it was a joke. There were two lines. The imperialists and those who listened to them, and we who were led by Mwalimu Nyerere and Nkrumah and other people, who wanted freedom, freedom meaning freedom. Now, the other group did not listen to us. Not only that, but they killed many of our people. They killed Lumumba. In Congo, they thought they were very smart. Killed Lumumba. Why did you kill Lumumba? Because Lumumba was independent-minded. In Burundi, they killed Rwagasore. They killed Ngenanumwe. They killed in Rwanda, they killed the king there, Rudahigwa. Then in West Africa, they were killing all these people, Felix Mumi and all that. They overthrew Nkrumah. They thought they were very clever. They overthrew Modibo Keita in Mali. So their strategy was puppets. Put puppets everywhere. Even in Tanganyika, they tried to overthrow Mwalimu at one time. They tried, but they didn't succeed. In Obote, in Uganda, they even overthrew Obote, whom they mistook for a leftist. Obote was not a leftist. But they got rid of Obote and put Idi Amin. So now, what is happening is that whatever somebody sows, that's what he harvests. So all these traitors have now collapsed in Mali, in Burkina Faso, in Central African Republic. It's chaos everywhere. So now, you people, me an old man, my young brother who is, how old are you, Your Excellency?
I'm 70.
Oh, a decent distance behind me. So these young people, these ones here, when some of us are still here, we can help you to build a new force. To build a new force of patriotism, because now neocolonialism has failed. Neocolonialism has failed. People in Mali, people in Burkina Faso, people in Nigeria itself. Nigeria. Everywhere they are harvesting the bad fruits of neocolonialism. So what do the progressive parties do? They must help to create a new force, to use the failure of neocolonialism to build now real African freedom. This one area where I think the ANC, as His Excellency said, this was the first organization after Africa had been taken over by the imperialists, all of Africa except Ethiopia, 1912 when it was founded. So we need to think about that. We may not have conclusions today, but for me, I'm thinking about it. How do we help? How do we help these situations? Because CFTA, how would you have it with chaos everywhere? How would you have it with Burkina Faso? How would you have it with Mali? How would you have it with the Central African Republic? How would you have it with Eastern Congo, that Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo? Those traitors who took over after, that's what I was telling His Excellency Tshisekedi. You, Tshisekedi, you need to decide. Are you on the side of the traitors, or are you on the side of the freedom fighters? Because that's how they end up. They just come. They end up being nothing. Because traitors cannot be, the first thing, the traitors cannot build an army. No. They can't build a national political party because they are sectarian, tribes, religion. Because of that, they can't build an army. So how will you have anything without an army, without a party, without... so I think really the ANC should think along with us how to see how to move some of these situations, how to work together. In Eastern Congo now we have intervened with our army there. We can help them. But there are what we cannot do, which can only be done by the locals, to build an army, to build a militia force. They fear militia force. When you say we build a militia force, oh, it will turn against us. How will the militia turn against you? The militia are defending themselves against the terrorists. Why would they be against you unless you have got something evil you are doing to them? So this ideological, don't forget the ideological, and you also become bureaucratic and honorable minister. And we have seen a lot of those, and they have not helped us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me to Pretoria. I'm very happy. I've not been here for some time. No, but we came for the burial of Mzee Mandela. We came.
Yeah, but that was not an official visit.
No, it wasn't. Yeah. Thank you so much.
South Africa, thank you. South Africa is proud of its very deep and fraternal relations with Uganda, relations that date back to the struggle against colonialism and apartheid. At great risk and sacrifice, Uganda stood firm in its support for the goals of our liberation struggle and contributed materially and in many other ways to help us achieve our freedom and our democracy. On behalf of the people of South Africa, allow me to express our appreciation to the people of Uganda for their contribution to our freedom. Relations between our two countries are based on the principles of mutual respect, the promotion of Pan-Africanism, and a commitment to human rights and also to the emancipation of women. The state visit that is taking place after the successful second joint commission cooperation held in Kampala in July of last year. We have an opportunity to assess the state of our relations and evaluate progress on the implementation on the decisions taken at that meeting. I'm advised that steady progress has been made in resolving some of the challenges relating to trade and investment between our countries. Our government ministries are in regular contact with each other, which is something that's quite pleasing. As further demonstration of our strong relations, today we will be signing several memoranda of understanding and agreements covering social, economic, legal, and scientific cooperation. It is our wish that our excellent and enduring political relations must translate into development and prosperity for our people and countries. By increasing trade and investment, our economies will no doubt grow. They will become more productive and diverse, and also create more job opportunities. We therefore welcome the South Africa-Uganda Business Forum that is currently underway and that you and I, President Museveni, will attend later today. The Business Forum brings together our respective private sectors and state-owned companies to explore new opportunities for trade and investment in each other's countries. I sincerely hope that the Ugandan delegates are showcasing opportunities for investment and procurement in Uganda's burgeoning gas and oil sector. South Africa would most certainly be interested in being part of this economic development in Uganda. It does not make economic sense nor political sense for African countries to trade with and procure from countries abroad when the services, the finances, the commodities and the products that they seek are available right here on the continent. Current global developments clearly illustrate that the urgent need to fully operationalize the African Continental Free Trade Area, the AFCFTA presents huge economic opportunities to grow intra-African trade and to deepen bilateral cooperation and continental integration as well. Increased intra-Africa trade will propel the growth of our economies and contribute towards continental stability and prosperity. South Africa sees Uganda as an important player in East Africa. As a continent, we need to continue towards peaceful resolutions of conflicts that occur on our continent. And South Africa strongly believes in African solutions for African problems. And we support the call for dialogue amongst member states, particularly in East Africa Community and SADC. We further support the call for the establishment of mechanisms to effectively coordinate continental interventions. South Africa looks forward to continuing the good cooperation that we have amongst ourselves, and we believe that it is vital that like-minded countries such as South Africa and Uganda should continue working together for peace efforts on our continent. South Africa continues to advocate for global solidarity, for the primacy of multilateralism, for the reform of the United Nations system, in particular the UN Security Council, and for a rules-based international order. We wish Uganda well in implementing its Vision 2040 and the Uganda National Plan. This will lead to prosperity not only for Uganda, but for the Eastern African region and the continent as well. So, Your Excellency, we are indeed overjoyed that after almost 11 years, you have come back to South Africa, and we would like to say, see this as your home, away from home, and we wish your visit a great success, and thank you very much for honoring us in the way that you have.
Now, if you listen keenly to what Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is saying, you will realize that there is a lot of sense in his discussion, especially when he's talking about the trade that is supposed to happen between South Africa and Uganda, the kind of goods that these countries can exchange, and how they can all work with the name of developing both local and regional markets. In this meeting, President Kaguta Museveni made a bold statement. And this was what he said: Neo-colonialism has failed. And he cited examples by giving things that are happening in Burkina Faso, in Niger, in Mali, in Togo, and said that Africans and sons of Africa have become tired of puppet leaders who continue to be holding fort for people in European world. He was saying that Africa should be able to chart its way forward and find the best strategy through which its leaders, and true leaders for that matter, can come together and forge a way that can support Africa and make Africa great. These are some of the best statements that Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has made when it comes to looks about Africa. And even if you listen to him, you'd realize that he is kind of promoting the quest for Africanism and the need for Africa to fight for itself, expel terrorism and chaos that is being witnessed across different parts of Africa. Because he was attributing this chaos to the Western influence in African mineral rich areas. And that is something that is given. But then when it turns back to the question about championing for African independence and African power, you'd note that he's very passionate about it. And as he has noted, he's very ready for African leaders to come together, work, and support each other. He's no nonsense, and he does not support any issue that goes against Africans working for themselves. So for me, I believe Kaguta Museveni has a very great blueprint for this African continent, and if given space, he and many other leaders who are progressive can work to ensure that Africa becomes the greatest giant that it is. So if you're watching us for the first time, please take a second or two to subscribe. Please always like and leave a comment down in the comment section so that we can engage further and understand your perspective on this topic that we discussed. Thank you, and may the good Lord bless you. Bye-bye.